Hi, I'm Kim. Thanks for joining me. So I'm going to be taking you through a shoulder and hip freedom flow. So when we're stressed and anxious, we switch on these fight and flight muscles, especially around here, the neck, the shoulders, the hips. So these muscles prepare us to either flee or to fight. So when we are anxious, when we are stressed, when we are worried, these can get quite tight. So we're just going to release through the neck to begin with, and then I'll take you through a flow, and feel free to either sort of take it up a little bit and throw in some handstands if you have a lot of energy today. You can play around with it, get a bit creative, especially if you're more advanced in your practice. If you're fairly new to the practice, feel free to slow it down. I do offer variations. Feel free to rest and just breathe and just get out of this what you need right now. So we'll just take a moment to tune in, closing off the eyes, and just asking your body how it's feeling without any judgment. And how you are feeling emotionally in this moment, physically, knowing that will change. Everything has a beginning, middle, and end. Just being aware of how you're breathing. If the breath feels shallow or deep, smooth or bumpy. And if you're fairly new to the practice, just bringing your awareness to the breath is sometimes enough, and you might just start to slow the breath down, making slightly bigger in-breaths, longer out-breaths. And then eventually just really extending, lengthening each in-breath, maybe for a count of 4 up to 6 or 8, and taking an equal exhalation. And visualize this breath ascending, so it rises up from the belly into the ribs to the chest, and descending, so it's like a wave, exhaling all the way down into your belly. And I want you to imagine that your pelvis is just spreading out roots into the earth. So start to develop a little bit of weight into your pelvis. And imagine that your head is like a balloon, quite light, just drifting into the sky. So as we inhale, we'll lengthen the spine without becoming rigid and tense. I'll mirror you. As we exhale, we'll take the left ear to the left shoulder. And if this is enough for you, if you feel the stretch, stay here, or you can reach out through the right fingertips. And if you still need a little bit more, you can wrap that left arm around the head. And rather than yanking the head, I just want you to imagine that this arm is quite relaxed and you're lengthening your earlobe and your shoulder away from each other. And we're not using brutal force, so we want to be quite gentle and compassionate to our body. Inhaling. Exhaling. And then slowly bring yourself back up, drop the hands onto the knees. Again, start to root through the pelvis as you elongate the spine, the head drifts up. But try not to throw the chin back, so keep it parallel to your chest. As you exhale, just slowly drop the right ear to the right shoulder. So if this is your tight side and you feel it, you can stay here, or reaching out through the left fingertips, or take the hand. Again, we're not trying to use force. Taking that hand around the head. Inhale. And visualize your earlobe and your fingertips moving in opposite direction. And then slowly come back up. And as we inhale now, we'll sweep the arms up and over the head, palms touch. And as we exhale, I'm just going to turn around so you can see me. You're going to draw the hands to the heart center and round through the back. And then again, inhale, come forward, float the arms up, and then exhale. So if you want to work a little bit into the core, what you could do is bring the feet out, inhale up. And then as you exhale, picking up the feet as you bring the hands to the heart in boat pose, Navasana. Inhale, circle the arms. Exhale, maybe you kick the legs up. 2 more, inhale, but feel free to keep your legs crossed and just focus on your arms. 1 more time, inhale, reach through the fingertips. Exhale, just stay here. Again, you can stay in your cross-leg position. And then we're going to cross the legs and come forward. So option one, feel free to simply take a wide leg child's pose, so knees as wide as your mat, and stretch your arms forward. Option two, you can find your puppy pose, also known as heart pose, Anahatasana. So take the hips on top of the knees and reach the fingertips forward. If you want a little bit more still, rise to fingertips and bring the chin down. Inhale deeply. Start to breathe into the middle back. And as you exhale, take a sigh, softening your heart towards your mat. Inhale, slowly come back, taking all fours. So you have your wrists under your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. Stretch your fingers out like stars. And initiating the movement from the pelvis, begin to lift up your sitting bones, drop your belly, gaze forward. And as you exhale, tucking your tailbone under, sending your back into the sky, tucking your ribs in. Inhaling, coming into cow. So feel that stretch in the front body, contraction in the back body. Exhale, contraction in the front body, creating space in the back body. Do that twice more, moving mindfully from one shape to the next. Following the flow of your breath, so like it's a wave that's moving you. Just slowing this transition right down. Lovely, come back to center. We'll start to draw circles. So take the ribs to the right, up to the ceiling, to the left, and down. Just drawing circles. So inhale the heart forward. Exhale to send the back into the sky. And really start to root through the feet, the tops of the feet and through the hands, especially as you lift your back. Come back to center. We'll change sides. So inhale left, up to the right and down. Maybe just let your head go along for the ride. Maybe it's moving around. Maybe you're focusing on a steady point. One more big circle. And then coming back to neutral. So by all means, if you're not wanting to do downward dog today, that's absolutely fine. You can take either that heart pose, also known as puppy pose that we took, or you can come into your child's pose. Otherwise, curling your toes under, start to press your palms forward and down, hugging your forearms towards one another. Start to float your hips up. And if you're a little bit tighter in the hamstrings, I want you to keep your knees bent. If you're quite tight, what will happen is when you extend the legs, you'll end up shifting your weight forward like this. So we want to find like an upside down V. So the knees can be bent, you stick your bottom into the sky, and eventually you might extend through the legs. And then we can start to just pedal out through the feet. Take a deep breath in and a sigh. And then pausing here. Just noticing how you're feeling. Inhale, ripple forward to plank pose. So feel free to lower the knees and then sit back. Take downward dog. Inhale forward. So again, you can drop the knees, or this time, bend the knees towards your mat and then sweep it back. So imagine that you're like a wave. Keep this quite fluid. Following breath. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Inhale forward. If you want to take the chaturanga, please do. Otherwise, lower the knees, pick up the feet, cross the ankles, and then lower your hips, lower your chest. Bring the tops of your feet to the floor. Stretch your toenails back, and then bring your fingertips outside of your mat. If you have anything happening in the lower back, it's not very comfortable, you can come to Sphinx with your shoulders stacked on top of your elbows. Otherwise, draw the tips of your shoulder blades towards the backs of your hips, and then inhale, curl up, and maybe gazing to your right heel, with your left eye. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, lower. Keep reaching the toenails to the back of your mat. Inhale, come up. Turn to look at your left heel with the right eye. Exhale, lower. We'll all come into Sphinx pose. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, draw your chin in. Draw a circle, so half circles. Take your ear to the right shoulder. Come up, and then down to the other side. Following the breath, inhaling to the right. Exhaling to the left. So one more half circle. And then coming back, take the hands next to the chest. Inhale, cobra, elbows hug in. You could take downward dog or you could take child's pose. And then wherever you are, start to make your way to the top of your mat. So if you're in dog, rise to the balls of your feet and take a very slow, mindful walk to the top of your mat. And then you might rise onto fingertips, maybe bending at the knees. Take your feet hip width apart, and please modify. Bend the knees if you feel any tension here in the lower back or the backs of the knees or legs. Grab hold of your elbows, take ragdoll, just drawing imaginary rainbows on the floor with your forearms. You can shake out the head with all the jaw. And eventually finding stillness. Press into the earth through the feet, bend the knees a little bit, drop the hands, draw the belly in as you roll up your spine nice and slow and roll the shoulders back a few times. So come to the top of your mat in Mountain Tadasana, feet hip width apart, resting your thumbs into your heartbeat. And then just have a little shift of weight side to side, forward and back. You might draw some circles. Still connecting to that slow, deep, steady breath. And then back to center. Feel a little tone through the thighs, a lift through the spine and the crown of your head. As you inhale, float your prayer up, gaze to thumbs. Find a little bend in the knees, and as long as it takes you to breathe out, is as long as it takes you to fold in and modify. Bend the knees, grab the shins. Inhale, halfway. Feel free to hold the shins. Exhale, so you could step or hop back to plank pose, take a chaturanga vinyasa, or just come into downward dog. You could also take a vinyasa from here. So remember that modified half chaturanga, picking up the feet, crossing at the ankles. So as we inhale, leading with your right inner thigh, float the right leg high. And start to open the hip, keep the legs straight and reach out through the ball of your foot. Plug into the earth with the right hand. Inhale here. Exhale, bring your knee in towards your nose and moonland your right foot between your hands. So from here, we're going to open up to the right side. Feel free to drop the back knee. As we exhale, float the arm under. Inhale, use the in-breath to open. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Drop the back knee. Feel free to reach for the back foot. This is optional. And you could either kick the foot away to open into your shoulder, or you could draw the heel towards you. If you're not grabbing your foot, absolutely fine. You can reach back. You might even just pick up that foot, and this will help work into the hamstrings. If you have the foot, release it. Take your right arm over your ear. Take your hands to the inside of your right foot. Shift your right foot slightly to the right side. Rise onto your fingertips and just take a little rock here in your lizard. Just noticing what you're feeling around that right hip. You can keep that right big toe down. And as you come to stillness, maybe this is enough. So if you feel it, stay here. If you don't, you could take your hands more forward or bring your elbows down. Or you could roll to the knife edge of that right foot and just encouraging, not forcing, that right hip open. And if you want to get a stretch through the neck, just drop the left ear to the left shoulder. So I quite like to sort of rock a little bit here. If you want to remain perfectly still, then do that. If you get better sensations and feel that it's a bit more nourishing for you. Bring the right hand back, bring the left hand back, drop that right big toe. So I'm going to have my back to you. We're going to lift up the back knee, turn the back heel in, line up your front heel to back arch. We're going to sweep the left arm forward and back and find that warrior two, reaching out through the fingertips. So as we inhale, straighten that front leg, brush the sky. Exhale, bend. Inhale, brush the sky. Exhale, bend. Twice more. And then turn the right palm up. Reach forward and back. Take the right hand to the upper back. And then draw the front ribs in so we don't go bam into that lower back. And then stretch to the back of your mat, gazing up. So stay here if this is enough. Or if you have a belt, grab a belt or anything else. Or grab hold of your hand. So imagine the elbow is moving back as the front knee floats forward, rooting through the outer edge of the back foot. Inhale, warrior two. Straighten the front leg. Lower your left hand. Bend the right leg again. Drop the right hand a little bit. And then take your left ear to your left shoulder. So stretching out through the right side of your neck. Find the next in-breath. The next out-breath, maybe see if you can breathe here into the middle back. Inhale, straighten the front leg. Reach forward, keep a little softness through the knee. Float the left arm up. If you want, you can wrap the arm around the back, grab the hip and drop the right ear to the right shoulder. So again, stretching into the neck, opening the heart. Inhale, come back to warrior two. Exhale, windmill the hands down. Feel free to rest. Feel free to take that vinyasa if you're full of energy. And then as you take your child's pose or down dog, just tuning in as to how you're feeling so far. On the next in-breath, leading with the left inner thigh, float the leg up. And then bring the knee in towards the nose. Float the foot forward very lightly. And then from here, we'll drop the right hand. Inhale, the left arm up. Exhale, sweep it under. Inhaling to open. Exhaling to close. Again, you could drop that back knee. And then we'll stay up. We'll lower the back knee if you haven't already. Stay here, maybe reach back towards the foot, perhaps picking up the foot but not grabbing it. Or you could grab it, kick it away, or draw it towards you. So it depends on whether you want to focus on your shoulder or your hip. And again, you could drop the right ear to the right shoulder, stretching into the neck. And then letting that right foot go, sweep your left arm over your ear, take your hands to the inside of your foot. So you might need to shift the foot to the left. Rise to fingertips, just have a little rock. So this hip is different, it has a different story. So just noticing and adapting. So if this side needs something different, then make sure that you adapt. And then as we come to stillness, maybe stay here or hands forward or elbows down or roll to the knife edge and open out that hip, maybe dropping the right ear to the right shoulder. Finding that breath. And imagine stretching the skin around that middle back with your breath, with your in-breath. And then releasing, bringing the foot down. Pick up the back knee. Find that heel to arch alignment. Rooting both feet. Float the right arm forward and back. And find that warrior two. Inhale, straighten your leg, brush the sky. Exhale, and bend. Inhale, moving in slow motion. Exhale. So twice more, maybe closing your eyes. Finding that warrior two. Turn the left palm up, reach forward and back. Again, you can take the hand to the upper back. You could reach around, grab the hand. This is my tight side, so I prefer to stay here. Again, just draw in through the ribs to protect the low back, and see if you can saturate this left side of your body with your breath. Keep the gaze soft, maybe close the eyes. And then from here, bring the arms back out, straighten the front leg. Inhale. Exhale, bend the front leg again, lower your left hand, and then take your right ear to the right shoulder. If this is enough, stay here or wrap your hand around the head. And then go ahead and straighten the front leg, reach forward. Keep softness through the knee. Imagine the shin floating up and reach up. Stay here or take that right arm around, grab hold of your hip. And then maybe dropping the left ear to the shoulder to stretch into the neck. And imagine that you're leaning back into your shoulder blade. Lovely, and then slowly come up. So what we're going to do from here now is bend the back leg. So that's the right one. Turn the left toes in, and then you might stay here. Or we'll take Skandasana, sit down onto that right heel, flex the left foot. You might want to come into a little balance, bringing your palms together. You might want to open out into a twist or take a bind. I have a lot of tension on my left side around the upper back and the side, so I'm going to just stretch the arm over the head here. Inhale wherever you are. Exhale, bow down. Inhale, come back, parallel your legs. Exhale, fold, and feel free to have books or bricks or whatever is handy to bring the floor up to you. And we'll move like we're a wave. We'll inhale, float up. Stick the bottom back. Exhale, melt down. Inhale, rise. You can bend the knees a bit here as well. Exhale, down. Inhale, rise. This time we'll bend the other leg, so the left one. You can stay here or sit on the heel. Imagine you're hugging your feet towards one another. You could bring the palms together. Find a little balance. You can open, take the arm to the inside of the leg, or take a bind. Or like I prefer, just sweeping the arm up to get that nice side body stretch. Releasing into the QLs and then bow down. And then come back, parallel the feet. You might stay here or interlace the hands and bow down. Feel free to shake the head yes and no. Feel free to bend the knees. And then inhale halfway. Exhale, we're going to hop the feet in. We're going to drop to the bottom. And I'm going to mirror you now. So your right leg is stretched out. You bring the left foot into the thigh. And if you find that your posture is a little bit like this, what we want really is to get the shoulders on top of the hips there. Then you can put a cushion or something rolled up underneath your bottom. You could also bend this leg or put a book or a yoga brick underneath it. So we're not just going to fold forward like this unless you really want to. We're going to try and open a little bit into the shoulders and upper back. So bring the arms forward. Take your right arm under. Either give yourself a hug or take eagle arms. Float the forearms forward. Inhale, sit tall. Exhale, this might be where you stay, so we're not being forceful. Or exhaling, bow down. So we shouldn't be feeling any pain. We want to be kind and compassionate to our body. So keep an eye on your lower back, especially here. Inhale. Exhale. From here, inhale, float the elbows up. We're going to take the right leg out to the side. Take the right hand behind, and you can either just stay here into a little side stretch, or you can open up, lifting the hips. And then as you exhale, come back down, but keep in this position. And then take a little rotation over to the left side. Inhale to root the pelvis, the thighs, lengthening, and then ease into it as you exhale. If you wanted to turn the head, then do. If you prefer to be still, be still. And come back to center. And we'll change sides. So stretching out the left leg, the right foot in. Again, you can maybe simply just fold in here, or take your left arm under. You can give yourself a hug or eagle arms. Float the forearms forward. Imagine your bottom is going back, the heart forward, and then maybe here you can feel something. If you don't, you can go a little bit deeper. Close off the eyes and breathe into the back. Slow, deep, steady breaths. And then as you come up, take that leg out to the side. We'll take the right hand behind, and then maybe just stretch the arm over the ear or lift the hips and open up into a little back bend. And then mindfully lowering yourself back down. But we'll take that twist to the right. So inhale to yield and create space. And exhale to ease into it without being forceful. Maybe turning the head, maybe not. And then coming back to center, taking the legs out, giving them a little shake. And then from here, we'll bring the feet straight out and we'll roll down slowly for a count of 10. Slide the feet in, take the right ankle onto the left thigh. If you feel it, stay here, or thread the arms through the legs and grab hold of that thigh. If you want something a little deeper, you could grab hold of the shin. Connect with breath and sensation. Modify if it's too intense. And release, change sides. Left knee in, flex the foot, ankle to thigh. You don't have to pick up the foot if you feel it in that left hip. Otherwise, you can grab hold of the hamstrings or grab hold of the shin. Feel the weight of your shoulder blades, of your head and of your sacrum. And slowly release. Take the arms and legs up and just shake everything out. Feel free to take a little sigh. And then give yourself a hug. Take a breath in, puffing up your back. Exhaling, curling up, bring your head up towards your knees. Inhale down. Exhale, flop out into your Shavasana. So feel free, it's a lovely warm sunny day today, but I'm not sure what the week's going to bring. So feel free to put a blanket, socks, anything that you need. Maybe a pillow under the knees if the back doesn't feel too good. But hopefully you feel amazing after that practice. So closing the eyes, take a deep breath, In through the nose. And just let that audible sigh just wash through you, down the body. Inhale. Exhale. And just allow your breath to be organic, so not trying to control it. You might notice this sort of ebb and flow of your breath and the movement that it's making in your body. I sometimes like to visualize like I'm just floating on like calm water, sort of bobbing up and down. So be aware of how you're feeling in your body. So noticing that buzzing, that tingling, which might be more obvious now, since you've created a bit more energy and space. And just allowing yourself to rest in that residue of everything you have just done up until this point. Enjoying how you're feeling, feeling relaxed, feeling free, open, calm, and content. And if you need to stay here a little bit longer, please feel free to do that. Otherwise, we'll just take a stretch, interlacing the hands, reaching back, and then keep the right arm over your ear as you draw the knees in and roll onto the right side, and use your arm as a pillow. Press your left hand down and come up to a seat. So feel free to prop yourself up on a cushion, close the eyes, noticing how you're feeling, body, mind, heart. Receiving this moment, noticing any sounds, any physical sensations, being aware of your skin. Bring your palms together at your heart center. Namaste. And thank you for joining me, and feel free to ask me any questions. I'm hoping to post more videos. These, I think it's about 30 minutes, so roughly 30 minutes. And I am offering my own Zoom live classes as well for an hour.